The first of 7 qualifiers around the track. In the first, Magical Lucas won with Corey McPherson. 2 Starship already scratched. Here's the 3, Bacon on a Biscuit with Mark Campbell. Woodmere Knight and Sharp Dress, they're both scratched. And the 6 is Woodmere Skyline for Mike McGuigan. First qualifier scratched down to a field of 3 with Magical Lucas, Bacon on a Biscuit, and Woodmere Skyline. Sloppy track conditions, there is a 3-second variant. And there they go, off and pacing with Bacon on a Biscuit, the first one away. Towards the rail, that's Magical Lucas, and from the outside, third will be Woodmere Skyline. So the compact field of just 3 rounding the first turn, approaching the initial 8, led by Campbell and Bacon on a Biscuit. Closing up off stride on the front end, Bacon on a Biscuit has hit the run. So coming up 3 wide, Woodmere Skyline. Then between horses, that is Magical Lucas, and Bacon on a Biscuit is the trailer after a break. On packs that opening quarter, now led by Woodmere Skyline, in line to Mike McGuigan, and the quarter mile was 34 and 4. So even with a 3-second variant, this group was going to have to pick it up big time. And on the front end, that's Woodmere Skyline, the leader. With her second is Magical Lucas, and the trailer, Bacon on a Biscuit. They're halfway home in the opening qualifier, led by Woodmere Skyline. 2 out, the leader is Magical Lucas, and playing catch-up, that is Bacon on a Biscuit. So they move into the lower turn, approaching the 5/8, and on the point, that continues to be Woodmere Skyline, with 3/8 left to go. Second towards the inside, Magical Lucas, And then the trailer, who has caught the field, is Bacon on a Biscuit going to the outside. So the 3/4 is up and coming with Woodmere Skyline, the leader. Bacon on a Biscuit made up a ton of ground now to challenge that leader, and right with them third is Magical Lucas. So the 3/4 in the books, and Woodmere Skyline, the leader, down to a head. Who are outside, that's Bacon on a Biscuit, and Magical Lucas is right with them, turning down the home stretch now. Woodmere Skyline along the rail. Bacon on a Biscuit has taken over. Magical Lucas is coming late from third. It's Bacon on a Biscuit and Campbell in qualifier 1. Woodmere Skyline was second. Magical Lucas third. Here's a rundown from the first qualifier. Magical Lucas was third. The 2-horse was scratched. Bacon on a Biscuit was the winner. 4 and 5 were scratched, and Woodmere Skyline finished second. We'll have the complete fractions from the opening qualifier in just a moment. Here's the fractions from the first qualifier. It was 34 and 4 at the quarter, the half in 105 and 4. 3/4 went 137 and 3, and the mile 207 and 4. The second qualifier is on the track. The 1 is Windermere, no harm done. Now the driver is Gilles Barrio. 2 is Southern Heart with Corey McPherson. 3, Hammock Charmer, he scratched. 4 is Nibbler for Mark Campbell. 5 is Mrs. Dragonfire for Zach Conway. 6, Elm Grove West Wind is scratched. And 7, You Ain't Dolly for qualifying driver Brett Clow. The second qualifier lines up with Windermere, no harm done. Southern Heart, Nibbler, Mrs. Dragonfire, and You Ain't Dolly. Top of the stretch. Here they come. There they go, off and pacing, and Windermere, no harm done, will lead them out towards the rail. Southern Heart is the second one to the turn. Nibbler's got away third. Then fourth, as they race to the opening eighth, is Mrs. Dragonfire and You Ain't Dolly on the outside fifth. So by the eighth pole, and they straighten to the backstretch, it'll be Barrio aboard Windermere, No Harm Done. They'll be quarter pole leading. Second is Southern Heart, racing from third. That's Nibbler. You Ain't Dolly is taking over fourth and now trailing the field. That's Mrs. Dragonfire. So the opening quarters in the books, led by Windermere. No Harm Done, 31 and 4 opened it up. Tracking along in the two-hole east, Southern Heart. Around the turn third, that's Nibbler. Fourth is You Ain't Dolly, and the gapped-out trailer is Mrs. Dragonfire. So through the stretch, they approach the midway point next, led by Windermere. No Harm Done. She'll get them halfway home. Second is Southern Heart. Nibbler continues in mid-pack third. Fourth is You Ain't Dolly. And the trailer, that is Mrs. Dragonfire. Halfway home in qualifier number 2, the leader, Windermere, No Harm Done, the half in 103 and 4. Southern Heart is second. Nibbler continues third, but he's edged out. Fourth is You Ain't Dolly, and then the trailer, that is Mrs. Dragonfire. To the backstretch they go for time 2. The three-quarters comes next. Windermere, No Harm Done. Now here comes Nibbler, driving up quickly to take over the lead. Following on the outside to pick up third is You Ain't Dolly. Fourth on the cones is Southern Heart. And Mrs. Dragonfire on the outside the trailer. So the three-quarters went 136 and 4, and they round the turn for the final time, just an eighth of a mile out. Nibbler, the leader. Here's You Ain't Dolly now on the outside second. Racing from third is Windermere, No Harm Done. Fourth is Southern Heart, and way wide Mrs. Dragonfire. So it's Campbell this time around with Nibbler. You Ain't Dolly is second, followed by Southern Heart, then Mrs. Dragonfire, and Windermere, No Harm Done, 206 and 2. Now the results of the second qualifier, Windermere, No Harm Done, 5th. Southern Heart was 3rd. Hammock Charmer was scratched. Nibbler the winner. Mrs. Dragonfire finished 4th. Elm Grove Rest Wind was scratched. You Ain't Dolly was 2nd. They went 31 and 4, 103 and 4, 136 and 4, and the mile in 206 and 2. And now there's a correction on the variant. It's a sloppy track, and now the racing officials have a 4-second variant. Track condition sloppy, 4-second variant. Qualifier number 3 has a field of trotters. 1, Rockadero with Mark Campbell. 2 is Glider Man, and now the driver will be Brett Clow. 3, Sailor Blue is scratched. 4 is Jesse, Jess, or Jessica with Joe Barrio. And 5, New Legacy is scratched. A trio of trotters line up in qualifier number 3. Rockadero, Glider Man, Jesse, Jess, or Jessica. Well, it's a good job that Jen Doyle showed up for this qualifying session, or Rockadero, he'd have been going a time trial without prompters. Top of the stretch. Here they come. There they go, off and trotting, Jesse, Jess, or Jessica, and Rockadero leaving out. Splitting them, that is Glider Man, the third one, as they make their way round the turn. And Jesse, Jess, or Jessica will clear the lead with Burial. Rockadero now goes second, and Glider Man watches from third. They go to the backstretch en route to the first quarter, led by Jesse, Jess, or Jessica, on a sloppy track with a 4-second variant. Racing from second is Rockadero, then third is Glider Man. So the front quarter goes to Jesse, Jess, or Jessica, the lead 2.5. Rockadero trots around the turn second, and Glider Man continues to trail 31 and 4 the front quarter. So off the turn they come, and alone on the lead is Jesse, Jess, or Jessica. Rockadero goes second, followed by the trailer third, and that is Glider Man at the midway point in the third qualifier, and it's Jesse, Jess, or Jessica continuing to show the way. Rockadero is second, Glider Man third, the half mile in 1:02 and 2. They pick it up 30 and 3 in the second quarter. Rounding the turn, approaching the 5-8. Jesse, Jess, or Jessica still the leader. Rockadero second. Glider Man third. They're on the backstretch for the final time. The three-quarters is the next station. And widening on the front end, it's Jessica. Rocket Darrow is second, and Glider Man continuing to trail third. So the three-quarters, that goes to Jessica in 1:34. Rocket Darrow is second, Glider Man third with an eighth of a mile left to trot. Jessica was a clean sweep for age trotting mare at both Summerside and Charlottetown, and Barrio will have it on the line first. Jessica wins. Glider Man rallies up second. Rockadero will finish third. So it's Jessica in 2:04 and 1. Here's the rundown in the third qualifier. Rockadero was third. Glider Man finished second. Sailor Blue scratched. Jessica the winner. New Legacy was scratched. Fraction to 31 and 4, 102 and 2, 134, 204 and 1. The fourth qualifiers on the track. 1, Dusty Lane Zara with Corey McPherson. 2, Dusty Lane Daisy, Mark Campbell. Numbers 3, 4, and 5, they're all scratch. Scratch the 3, 4, and 5. Well, Ruddy Gass's farm well represented here in qualifier number 4. We're scratched down just to a pair, and they are Dusty Lane Zara and Dusty Lane Daisy. A couple of 3-year-old pacing fillies. And as they get away, it'll be Dusty Lane Zara to lead them into the turn with Dusty Lane Daisy second from the outside. At the opening 8, it is Dusty Lane Zara with McPherson. Dusty Lane Daisy, she's going to settle up for that 2-hole ride as they move along the back stretch. En route to the initial quarter mile, and Dusty Lane Zara will be quarter pole leading, and she makes the lead a 2-length advantage. Dusty Lane Daisy will track along and close right up now, second, 32 and 2 was the opening quarter. So these fillies race around the turn for the first time. They arrive at the 3/8, led by Dusty Lane Zara. Dusty Lane Daisy is coming second out of the turn through the stretch, and the midway point comes next, and it'll be Zara and McPherson halfway home. Daisy and Campbell continuing to track in the 2-hole. Passing on the opening half-mile, led by Dusty Lane Zara. Dusty Lane Daisy is second, consecutive 32 and 2/4. When you add them up, the halves and 4 and 4. As they approach the 5/8 with 3/8 left to go, it's Dusty Lane Zara the leader. Dusty Lane Daisy comfortable watching her in the 2-hole as they move along the backstretch. This is for the second and the final time. The 3/4 is up and coming. Dusty Lane Zara will lead them there. Dusty Lane Daisy bides her time in the 2-hole with 3/4 of a mile in the books in 1:37 and 4. So they round the turn for the second and final time. Shade more than an 8 to go. Dusty Lane Zara looking to take them all the way. Dusty Lane Daisy is second, and they're homeward bound here in the 4th qualifying session on this nasty Tuesday night in May. Dusty Lane Zara with McPherson all the way. Dusty Lane Daisy with Campbell. They will finish second. So Dusty Lane Zara wins qualifier number 4 in 2:07.4. Results of the 4th qualifier, Dusty Lane Zara the winner, Dusty Lane Daisy was second. Stone Cold Girl scratch, Roya Zali scratch, Too Much for You was scratch. Fractions 32 and 2, 104 and 4, 137 and 4, and the mile 2:07 and 4. The 5th qualifier is on the track. Good news for the outside 2 at the draw. The numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all scratched. 5 is Ma Rebel with Jacob Sweet, and 6 Jester with Bim Ford. fifth qualifier scratched down to a pair. Age Pacers. Maribel Jetster, top of the stretch. Here they come. There they go, off and pacing, and Maribel will lead them towards the rail. Jetster, he'll be second as the two of them move round the turn. They go to the opening eight. Maribel on the early lead. Jetster may keep coming here from the outside up to challenge that leader as they move on to the backstretch going to the quarter mile. And Jetster and Keith Ford will take over that early lead. Maribel gives way to race from second as they race to the opening quarter mile, arriving there led by Jetster. In the two-hole, Maribel, as we can scratch down to just two of them here in qualifier number 5. 31 and 3, the initial quarter. So they're over to the 3/8 pole next. Jetster on the lead, and Maribel races from second. They swing off the turn through the stretch. They have the half mile in their sights now. Jetster will be the midway point leader, and Maribel comfortable watching him in the two-hole. So they're halfway home in the fifth of 7 qualifiers on this Tuesday night at the driving park. Jetster, the midway point leader, 103. Maribel tracking along second as they move round the paddock turn. This is for the second time. The 5/8 is the next station. Jetster the leader. Maribel is second. We're on a sloppy track on this night. There is a 4-second variant, and they're halfway up the backstretch for the final time. 3/4 next. Jetster continues to lead. Maribel inside of a quarter of a mile left to race here in qualifier number 5. Jetster the leader. Maribel now is coming to the outside. 3/4 tripped in 1:35 and 2. With an 8 left to come, Jetster will bring him home. Maribel on the outside is going to come right with him as they race down the stretch, approaching the finish line. Jetster, Maribel on the outside. On the line, it will be Jetster. Second is Maribel. So Jetster and Keith Ford in qualifier 5, 2:04 and 2. Now the results of the fifth qualifier. The first 4 horses were scratched. Maribel was second. Jetster the winner. 31 and 3, 103, 135 and 2, 204 and 2. 6 qualifiers on the track. Number 1 is Rosetown Mary with Corey McPherson. And the 2 is Marina Del Rey with Mark Campbell. Numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, they're all scratched. Scratch down to a couple of 3-year-old filly pacers here in qualifier 6. Rosetown Mary and Marina Del Rey, top of the stretch. Approaching a start. The rough and pacing Marina Del Rey will shoot out to the front for Campbell, and Rosetown Mary will be second as these fillies race round the turn, approaching the initial eighth. Marina Del Rey will be the fraction setter, with Rosetown Mary set up for that 2-hole tag-along ride. Up the backstretch they go to the opening quarter mile, led by Marina Del Rey for Mark Campbell. The lead is 2. Second is Rosetown Mary as the fillies arrive at the opening quarter mile. The leader is Marina Del Rey. Rosetown Mary has closed in on that leader. Races second. The quarter was up in 32 and 4. Around the turn they go. It's Marina Del Rey, 5/8 of a mile left to go. Second is Rosetown Mary as they move off that turn and straighten down the stretch. The midway point is the next station, and it'll be Marina Del Rey to get qualifier number 6 halfway home. Rosetown Mary will muscle up on her back as they move by the half mile. Marina Del Rey was the midway point leader in 1:05. Second is Rosetown Mary as they race on around that paddock turn for the second time. At the 5/8, Marina Del Rey, the leader. Rosetown Mary races from second. The fillies will pick up the tempo going to the 3/4 pole. Marina Del Rey, the leader. Rosetown Mary continues on her back in the 2-hole. 3/4, that's in the books now, and Marina Del Rey was the leader at that station in 1:36 and 3. Rosetown Mary is poised to the outside second as the fillies have 1/8 of a mile left to go and they're homeward bound. Marina Del Rey trying to close it out on a Rosetown Mary as the fillies come through the stretch. They arrive at the wire next. Marina Del Rey all the way with Campbell. Rosetown Mary McPherson, they are second. So it's Marina Del Rey to win qualifier number 6 in 2:06 and 1. Rundown in the 6th qualifier. Rosetown Mary was second. Marina Del Rey the winner. Numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, they were all scratched. The fractions 32 and 4, 105, 136 and 3, 206 and 1. Seventh and the final qualifier on the track. One Starship Glide, he scratched. Number 2, Ladylike, now gets Mark Campbell up to drive. Ladylike has Mark Campbell. 3 is You Bet I'm a Good One with Joe Barrio. 4 is The Big Chase and Corey McPherson. 5, Atlantic Star, Mike McGuigan. 6, Legendary Ron, is scratched. Seventh and the final qualifier lines up with Ladylike, You Bet I'm a Good One, The Big Chase, and Atlantic Star, top of the stretch. Here they come. The rough and pacing Atlantic Star's the first one away. Second towards the rail, Ladylike, You Bet I'm a Good One from the outside. Then the early trailer, that's going to be the Big Chase. So they arrive at the initial eighth. Atlantic Star from Mike McGuigan sets up shop on the lead. Second, You Bet I'm a Good One. Campbell won't wait. There goes Ladylike on the move from third. Now second and takes dead aim at the leader. And that new leader is going to be Ladylike for Mark Campbell as they arrive at the quarter. Atlantic Star is second. You Bet I'm a Good One third. And the Big Chase is the trailer fourth. 31 and a 1 opened it up. So they're midway on that upper turn for the first time, led by Ladylike at 3/8. Racing from second, that is Atlantic Star. Out of the turn, third is You Bet I'm a Good One. And the Big Chase can see them all from fourth. The half mile is up and coming, and Ladylike will get them there. The lead, too. Atlantic Star races from second. You Bet I'm a Good One. She's third. And trailing the field fourth is the Big Chase, the half mile in 101 and 2. That was 30 and 1 in the second quarter. So they're rounding the paddock turn. The 5/8 comes next, and the leader there, Ladylike. Atlantic Star right on her back second. You Bet I'm a Good One, a tight third, and with the leaders fourth, that is the Big Chase. A three-quarter pole is the next station. Ladylike will arrive there as the leader. Atlantic Star with her second. Third up the rail, You Bet I'm a Good One. Trailing the field fourth. That is the Big Chase. Three-quarters up in 1:33 and 4. So Campbell got a breather in the third, and just an eighth of a mile left to come. Ladylike turning home. Atlantic Star tipping to the outside. Third up the rail, You Bet I'm a Good One. The Big Chase fourth, deep in the stretch now. Ladylike, Atlantic Star run alongside and will take over late. Atlantic Star for Mike McGuigan. Ladylike second, You Bet I'm a Good One third, with the Big Chase fourth, 2:03 and 4. Now the rundown in the seventh qualifier. Starship Glide was scratched. Ladylike second. You Bet I'm a Good One third. The Big Chase was fourth. Atlantic Star the winner. Legendary Rom was scratched. 31 and 1. 101 and 2. 133 and 4. 203 and 4. Next qualifying session here at Charlottetown Saturday afternoon at 1.